Murrays, went to Murrays.
Yeah, unbelievable.
You know, Mom used to take us up to Murray's all the time. I was supposed to drive up that dirt road.
Yeah.
She'd drive us right up that dirt road and sit on the bank and watch us swim all day long.
Oh man, it's amazing.
The thing is now, I'll be honest, the problem is now with the parents, they hand the kids a video game or something, tell them to come back in a couple hours.
Right.
My mom was
Built-in
involved.
babysitter.
My mom was involved. She took us out places all the time.
I always tell the keep the TVs broken in the summer.
Yeah.
Outside.
Dude, back when we were growing up, that was.
Yeah.
Who wanted a weird ball field or
And right after school.
It wasn't nothing to get 20 guys gathered up and play
No.
tag or tackle football down at Mr. Roop's field.
everywhere.
You know, baseball season, if you know, anytime, as long as it was nice out, you had 10 guys you were playing some kind of
Something.
heck, even with Larry Five, we used to come up here, the Snaskies, we all played that wiffle ball thing up here.
Big ball and.
Yeah, big ball. And
Oh man.
we spent hours.
Tennis
Nobody ever.
ball.
You couldn't tell anybody what was on TV because you didn't know.
As I tell my girlfriend, she's from L2, and I say, Christ, I was 9 years old. I'm not getting home till midnight. And well, you know, like
Yeah.
we were out, you know.
The light was on here.
It was on.
Well, my mom didn't have a rule. That street light was on. She was sitting on the porch waiting on it.
Yeah.
Then you could say, "Hey, we'll be over
Yeah.
and go back over."
Not
But
like
street
that
light, you
anymore.
had to check in on that street light.
Park's empty all the time. It's
There's
sad.
Yes.
I know when I was growing up, if you wanted to adopt the ball diamonds at 9 o'clock in the morning, you didn't get to play till they went home for lunch.
Yeah.
You know, because,
Because there was a lot of kids. And
oh,
That's part of, no kids anymore downtown.
But that's all we do.
I spent so much time up here in the hills as a kid.
Yeah. This hill was packed. We had.
Yeah.
No place.
Heck, we
I
put
said
back-
I wouldn't want to grow it up any other place in this country than Coalport, Pennsylvania. As a kid.
We put the basketball court. Remember one day we all got together, and I don't know where we got permission, but we dug up a pole and a net, and we put one up right up there so we could play basketball.
I just seen one. She was over to her game. They took Alex over that Christmas.
Hello, Joe.
Alex and Alex on the old radio TV.
We'll give you an ancient the agenda first. Before first you bring us up to speed on this.
Okay, well, that's on that.
Morgan won't be here.
No, I don't think Kathy will be here either. So
Fire's
then,
full tonight.
okay, all right, then we're ready to roll. So we just give you the floor and bring us up to speed on these. What's happening?
Okay, last 19th, which would have been last Thursday, I met with, first I met with Owens Beachley. He's in the 814 area code, that's I could tell you, he's up north. He was down to look at our watershed hole down here. And he says there's not going to be any funding available because he says that kind of thing is an ongoing problem. He says the best thing you can do, you take the building down, you don't take the floor up. You let the floor there, the floor will hold what walls there. You take it, like cut, take the floors out and cut that. There's always a possibility of them going in. One of his recommendations upstream would be, he says you get these smaller, either take telephone poles or jersey barriers. You put like 10 of these upstream, maybe say 100 feet apart, maybe farther. And that makes a place for the water to take some of that sediment in each one of them. Of course, they're a maintenance item, because you got to clean them out yearly. But that slows a lot of the material down before it gets to where it is. His recommendation is take plastic pipe, whatever you can get that'll fit in there. You take one or two lids back, you fix what you have to do. He says they make a collar that'll go down over it. You take a 2-foot riser, you bring the 2-foot riser up, and you still put a grate on the top of it and do it with plastic because it's just going to be an ongoing issue with it. Then, after that, well, he hadn't even left yet. So we're talking 1 to 1:15. He's still here, and Rebecca comes from, she's from the Fairfield County Conservation District, and she looked and she said, I was told it was a bridge. Well, she's thinking of up at the gasoline run, where she can't do anything with a bridge, but with a pipe, she can. So she suggests the pipe that's under that road, Owen measured it, it's 42-inch cement pipe. He suggests nothing less than a 6-foot pipe under there. He says you have lots of cover to put over between that and your road. You don't have to worry about not having enough cover for it to get, be.
And the spot is, yes, right here by the Taj Mahal.
On 4th Street.
Right under the road.
And he said that right there would take one of your backup areas out of it, because it's it goes from, say, 4 foot, 3 foot, down to 42-inch. So that would be a place that would do away with, like, some of your restrictions. Now, hopefully, maybe they could back this side of the road a little bit, and on the other side of the road a little bit also. But the first thing I have to do is a traffic study.
That's in order to qualify for the grant?
Right, because
So
it
we all drive
is
through
for,
No,
they're for low,
I'm being funny,
low volume road.
Okay.
So we have actually 3 ways we can do it. Number one would be you would get the set of the counter that you put the tubes across the road, and as the cars go across, that they count them. That's pretty much out of our league.
Right, where you'll allow this one, right?
Right. The second one is you set a video camera up for 24 hours and video how many cars go by it. But to have a camera there that would be unsecured would be pretty much, unless somebody's going to sit there, it would be gone.
Right.
Or the more common thing is somebody sits there for 2 hours with a clicker and you just count how many cars in a 2-hour period. No. You only have to do 2 hours.
Do you need a clicker?
One. All right, you're done.
Here, the stipulations is unbelievable. It has to be between a Tuesday and a Thursday. It can't be a Friday, Saturday, Sunday, or Monday. It can't be the day before a holiday, or the day after a holiday. It has to be from March to the week before Thanksgiving.
How many hours on the day?
2 hours with the clicker.
I mean, how many total hours?
2 hours.
Oh, that's all?
Then you take 2 hours times 12, and then I have the formula in there, and then you send it to her and go with that.
All right, and if it's below a minimum, we do not qualify?
Anything below 500 cars in a 24-hour period, and I don't think we're gonna
Oh,
have
we won't
500
even be
cars.
close.
But I mean,
We're almost wasting our time.
you don't count, four-wheelers don't count, any
Well,
motorcycles that are licensed do.
there's no way you're gonna do 500 cars.
Well, the only
What
way to do
period of
that
time?
is if you took this
How many-
traffic off of Main Street, and
Right.
run it up there.
All right, so we're wasting our time on that.
But we still have to do it, though.
But are we gonna, if we are below a certain level, do we get the funding?
that's the idea.
Yeah, that's why we have to,
That's it,
that's
yeah.
why we have to do it, to show that we are below a
Oh, you
certain.
have to be below. I
We
thought
have
you
to
were
be
below.
below.
Yeah, I was getting you that we had to have more than 500
Me
cars.
too.
We'd have to go
Yeah,
down.
I'm done, yeah.
No.
Let's go down to the couple
Right.
others.
What they consider low-volume roads is less than 500 cars a
Oh.
day on it, so I think we'll
Oh,
be good on
oh,
that.
oh, yeah.
But
Oh, yeah.
regardless,
All
I
right.
still
All right.
have to do it, so it's not gonna be an issue.
All right.
You do it between 3 and 6.
Okay.
3 p.m. to 6 p.m., that's
That's
your time
3
frame
hours.
that you have to do. Well,
2 out of 3 hours there.
I'll get a clicker and I'll just do it.
All right, well, I'll
You're
help
talking
you
about
out.
just
You
sitting
do
here,
1
that's no
hour, I'll do
problem.
another
Sitting here at
hour.
Taj Mahal watching the car
Yeah.
back.
Yeah. Sit there, case
But I
of
don't
beer
see
and-
no reason why you couldn't have a magazine there and read
Something,
that, like,
yeah,
if
as
you're
long
gonna
as
hear
you-
anything that
right.
comes by with the window down or
You
anything
can.
like that. But I wanted to bring up to speed with that.
All right.
Now with Rebecca, there's not gonna be any money in the spring funding, it's about done. But if we get all this stuff in place, when the fall one comes, we should be pretty good. Even if we wouldn't do it in the fall, we may be able to hold it over to it the spring, because that'll be a bid out job. Because that's too big for something we would do. We have nothing. It digs that deep, and to put a, like say, a 6-foot pipe in there.
Okay, so we're taking both of these recommendations that you
Yes.
presented. Seems to be
Yes.
logical. No problems.
The only thing that she said is we would have to get DEP involved. They would do it probably what would be considered an emergency recommendation fix for the way the hole is. And it shouldn't be hard to get a permit to do that. I'll see if she didn't give me an address, I will see if I can't get a connection, see if I can't get something more direct, so I don't have to go through the game of department. If she has, pretty much a direct line that I can get a hold of that way.
So you know her well enough to ask?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes,
You're
what she
making
did,
a lot of
Rebecca took place of what Lydia Whipple. Lydia Whipple used to be on the current Clearfield Conservation, and she got to move closer back to where she lived. She put her hours in, or her years in, got a little seniority. She got to move closer to where she originally
So we
lived.
pretty much know what we're doing
We
on
have a pretty
Forest
good,
Street.
yes, we got a pretty good idea of what we can do there.
Okay, good.
The best thing that would happen, and I have not, all those pictures that Jessica had sent us. Remember they were all
Yes.
kind of candy-walkers?
Yes,
Well,
and you
Walt and I
straightened them
down and
all
we
out.
looked at all of those. There's only one of those there's an issue with, and it's on the corner of Filbert, and it's the one that gets sulfur in it every year from that well. And every year we run a snake in it, we have to take the fire hose, and we gotta go.
Is-
Well, they cleaned the catch basin out, but we have to do the fire hose job on that one.
Is Jessica trying to raise money for us?
I
This
don't know.
issue, I'm a little
I'm not
confused here.
sure if that is for that purpose, or if that's to see if that's where the water is going to a resident on that end of town.
Okay, I just,
And I think it may be for the residents that claims they're getting a lot of water, and it's from us, but we have no pipe on the one side of the road, everything's on the other side. So, but when we do go to flush now, and I told Jack this yesterday, seeing who's telling him, we just hooked up to the hydrant, run it over, and done what we want to do. They have to meter all the water now. Even when they flush the hydrants, they have to meter, and DEP requires them to meter. They gotta know where their water goes,
it
even when they
doesn't
flush.
cost us anything.
It won't
We're
cost
still
us
paying
anything to
75.
flush it. They
Okay.
just have to know
Okay,
where their water
so
went
that's
to.
their issue, not ours.
What they'll do, we'll call them, they'll have a guy come up and sit there while we do that, to see what we
You-
use.
You basically don't know what you're doing in two different places now. Now you're talking Blaine Run. You have a rough idea what's going to happen there.
Yeah, I have to contact her to see, in connection with these pictures, what's falling through with it. She says we have issues.
Right.
I
that's
just
what
wanna
saw.
find out what her issues are, because water runs very well all to the one, all except the one, it just doesn't, it's not flowing
I
the way
was
I'd like it
confused
to.
by the email.
Yeah.
That's what
She-
I
I think she had mentioned there about how one pipe was smaller than the other.
Yeah.
Did we pass it on to all of you? Did you see the photos?
Well, they were done at two different times, is what I can see. The one that is a larger size, it starts up at Laurel Street. It starts across, it would be either right above Carl Gilligan, if you know where Carl is, or it'd be right across from the old CPS office. And it starts in that corner, it goes under his property the whole way down, because there's a driveway, goes up into a trailer, then it's open. Well, it goes from, looks like it maybe go to 12 to 10 from there down. But there's a place where water, it's like a head wall, where water, any surface water from down the driveway can get down. And it's all open, but down to the creek, it's open at the creek with water running out of it. So there's no problem. It's been put in a long time ago because it's not smooth bore, it's corrugated. So that's probably 12 to 15 years old, maybe older than that.
So other than that,
It'd be older than that, and
What are we going to do there?
I
We don't know yet.
a normal rainstorm, even on normal hard rainstorm, it will probably take
No
it and
problem.
carry it fine. Now, if we had something like 6 inches of rain, and
Well, nothing
Like
can
we
happen,
had.
that's right.
unless you did an overkill of like
So you're
14
saying do
inch
nothing,
pipe,
it's okay is what you're saying.
that side, I can't see there being an issue with it. It looks
Okay.
like it'll run just fine. It's all open. You can see daylight to daylight from end to end and everything, so it's just a matter of, it's one of them ones that every time leaf blows, you still have to go clean everything out. It's just like right now, not until stuff greens up, you're gonna have obstructions with about any of the storm drains.
Part of the routine maintenance.
Just part of routine maintenance.
Anything else on that?
The only one other thing that I'm gonna bring it up just to bring it to your attention, because I might have to throw a wrench in the works, is I'm having a little trouble with one of the workers not showing up for work.
You know that's up to you, you do what you have to
Yeah,
do.
I sit
Let me
down,
guess.
Yeah,
I sat down in the office the other day and looked at how the hours is falling, and the hours is these, he has a couple of weeks there that's maybe only 18 or 20 hours, so I'm gonna have to He got an infection. I don't know whether it was from a spider bite or something, but I know he had some issues with that. But, you know, I've had other issues too, and I worked through other issues that were just as bad as that.
You know,
not
that's
worse.
up to you. Go back,
All
you go, you know the steps, follow
Yep.
the personnel policy,
I'm
go
gonna
through the steps,
what
and
needs
if,
to be done. I've already, Walt
You-
and
you
I've
tell-
already talked
right.
about it.
Okay.
You know, Walt works through things.
yes,
Walt, he could do stuff, a lot of stuff by himself, but
yes.
this is the time of year when you get a nice day.
I understand the problem. If you think two people are coming in, you plan a day for two, if he doesn't show, now you gotta find.
He does his one day.
I think that's your job, and we'll let
I'm
you do that.
gonna take care of it.
Okay.
I just
And
wanna
we
let
will
everybody
back
aware of
you,
this.
if it goes the distance, make sure you follow the policy, whatever you decide, we will be behind you, right? It's his job, it's his
Yeah.
crew.
It's going on too
There's no
long.
sense.
All right.
Right,
Appreciate
right,
that.
we're not gonna
I
micromanage
appreciate
you here.
everybody's support then, basically.
That's why we hired you, and we appreciate what you're doing, and we're gonna have your back.
I think.
It's your crew. You're welcome. Go ahead, Joe, where's that?
That's pretty much what most of the highlights that I had.
Okay, we talked about the insurance the last time. Should I wait for Angel on this? Here's my understanding. She called Randy, let me go back. Joe told us it depended on the number of workers that you were insuring. And we figured that out to be 48, counted that up. So she called Randy, how many people are we insuring for workers' comp? That's what we're talking about. Randy told her what, it has nothing to do with the number of people, it has to
It
do
goes
with
by
the area.
per capita, I think.
I don't know, I don't understand.
I can have
It
her.
doesn't matter.
I
It
can
doesn't
have her.
matter. We've already decided we're changing to the other guy.
Okay.
And we'll bring that up.
First of all, the workman's compensation is based on the money earned and the type of job they're doing.
Well, they don't earn anything. They're volunteers. That's what makes this whole thing so weird. So we're talking about the fireman's workers' comp. You're giving workers' comp to people that aren't on the payroll. It's volunteer. You know how that
Right.
works.
Okay, that is, there's nothing about the number of people involved at all. We never had this before at all. We never had a question about how many is involved. All they wanted to know
Well,
was, so this man's barging up the wrong tree.
he's going to insure us. He's done it. I think it's this board, you missed some of this. It is our collective opinion that this guy has done a much better job for us. I'm not trying to
Yeah.
speak for everybody,
He's-
but
And he's definitely, from what I see so far, there's gonna be quite a significant savings.
yes. Yeah, he's just been he's given us more detail. He's been here a couple of times. He spent hours with us. We're real pleased with what he's told us.
One thing about it, I wish you would have been here, Jack, he does have details. You ask him a question, he pretty much, if he don't know it, he moves the figures around and he comes up with the question. And, you know, it's just one of those things.
He helped
that-
us a lot, did he not?
Oh, yeah.
With what we've
He
gone through, with
answered a
every
lot.
aspect
He
of this.
answered a lot of questions that we felt, you know, we were kind of in the dark on, and he brought us up to speed on it. And Angel can come in, I'll just tell her to come in, because she can tell you what
There's not, the 48 number is ridiculous, because one time you'll have 10 people, next time you'll
No,
have
no,
25.
that isn't how it works.
No.
Go ahead.
How he explained it was, it matters how much you're gonna pay for your insurance by the number of people. Now, if only 10 people show up to the fire and one of those people get hurt, if they're of that 43, obviously, because they belong to the fire company, then they'll be covered by comp. It doesn't matter if there's only 3 guys show up to the fire. They're still covered. But what he's telling us, his insurance is cheaper if we say that we have to insure 43 volunteers, it's cheaper than saying that we need to insure anybody that might show up,
Or 83.
or 83. So we contacted the fire company to get a list of actual certified members in the fire company and gave them those numbers.
Active
Plus
duty fire.
active duty fire.
There's 48 active duty,
So that we knew that they would be covered if anything happened to them. Where on the other one, nobody knew what they were covered for. I mean, we went over that insurance thing 4 or 5 times, racking our brains, even asking him, and nobody seemed to know what was covered.
We've sent this stuff to 2 different agents, and both of them gave us recommendations, and we've made changes at the past meeting. For example, you know how we were overinsured for first party benefits. The same thing happened to us with uninsured and underinsured. We not only have what the law requires, we have in addition to, and there's no benefit of that to us whatsoever because the workers are covered by workers' comp if they're hurt in an automobile accident on the job here.
Right.
So there's just, we had all kind of insurance and still have that we feel we do not need. We feel we've been taken advantage of here. Randy's probably not going to get our business. This guy did us a lot, and I think we're in agreement that he should be rewarded for his efforts, number one. Number two, he's going to save us money, and we're properly insured. We're not even properly insured. For example, I don't know if you missed this one. I don't want to take up too much time here, but when Donna stole money, she was not bonded, so the borough had to eat that cost. Well, now, this one, you have the wrong insurance. It's a surety bond instead of a fidelity bond, so if Angel takes the money and runs, we still get nothing. Now ultimately that falls on the board. The board was asleep at the switch or something, but Randy didn't help out a whole lot. We just feel this guy is more responsive to us. We feel he's more prepared, and he seems to be more honest. That's our feeling. I think I can't speak for everybody here, but we're going to vote on that, and I feel pretty confident from what I've talked here that this insurance is going to go to somebody else. All of it. And it's starting right now, in fact, as firemen's workers' comp will be the first to expire, we are switching that over to this new guy, and then it will be our workers' comp, and then in November, the whole works is going to go to this new guy. Now, we will have to vote on that. But I believe we have the votes to do that. No, I don't think this board is pleased with Dougler Insurance. And we talked about the premiums before. For me, it didn't make much sense to reward somebody that's been scalping for $2,000 or $3,000 a year. Anyway, I don't want to get off on that because we have. I may have not have made something clear. I'm going to get ahead of ourselves while they're out there just to keep this moving. You all know we have to attend to the way our ordinance book is being recorded, and the reason for that is, maybe I'll know this, we can't amend the ordinances. Everything's glued in there, so if we would amend something on page 20, if you try to make an ordinance with one more page, she would have to paste every other ordinance beyond that. Paste and glue it.
So this is what I have so far for your door hangers, and I can put on the back additional comments for the
Let's give us a few.
But that gives you an idea.
There, I guess you guys are the ones who need.
That gives you an idea on that, and I can add whatever.
We're going to need you shortly.
Okay. Yeah, he said you had a question about the insurance.
Well, I think I already answered it.
Yeah, it goes basically
area.
by the area, by how many people are in Coalport is how they decide how much we pay for the fire company, which kind of doesn't make sense to me, but yeah.
See that?
Nancy took that when she left. Nancy took that when she left. That would be helpful, but yeah.
It is, it's nicer to just you can put several of these in and do your cut at one time.
The only thing is, though, we talked about it, and like she said,
Additional comments.
the additional comments, and then we were going to, when we copied these, remember, we were going to put the actual ordinance that we were following in the back of this. Am I correct? And
Yes.
isn't that what we decided? So
Yes.
that
Yeah, I can do that too.
me and you would just highlight that area.
What she could do then, she could bring this part down, put the ordinance on the back that would be marked, and that way you still have your top place up here to put
Yeah, I
a
can do
rubber
that.
doorknob.
Yeah, you mean like move this part back here?
That part would
Okay.
go back here, bring this
Okay.
notice part
Well,
down.
he wants the whole ordinance
Well,
on
well,
there.
we're
It's
gonna-
what all
Well, I
that-
have
The
one.
definition where it says about the weeds,
Yes.
or
Yes.
when we finally do get into the vehicle, or
Yes.
the trash, where that part of the ordinance is on our ticket. Because remember, that was one of the things we talked
Yeah.
about with her.
Mhm.
If you don't define what the ordinance is
Yeah.
and you give them this, then this is no good.
Here's something else we have to do, we haven't done that. This is the notice. We have to have the citation part. Do you recall, I think I sent you guys something in one of the emails that had a citation? I
The
can
actual
bring-
ticket,
Yes, if they don't do this, you're actually going to be cited.
I know
yeah,
my
there
people.
was an
Let me
actual
see
ticket part
here.
where we took it back to them.
Yeah, I'll bring
Yeah,
something
one
up here
will be
real
a
quick.
non-traffic,
All right,
one would be
here,
traffic
yes,
and non-traffic. Oh, then it would just look like this here.
Yeah.
Okay, that's the kind that, like, almost like what they used to have down here, that you had the flap that they put the money down in and then slipped it through the
It's
slot.
just one example, just to get our
Yeah.
minds just
Right.
thinking on
Gotcha,
something.
gotcha.
If it has to get that.
Well, I'll tell you what I was.
Yeah, we should be prepared though.
We should be
You know, we
prepared,
shouldn't
right.
wait until the last minute. We should do this.
One I'm talking about was when we go from this point, if they didn't pay, then you have to do a non-traffic one.
Yes,
It's
this
like
is
4
non-traffic.
pages
Do
that
you-
would go to, we would keep one, the people would get one, and then the magistrate gets one for that part.
I didn't
If
see
when it
the one
goes
the
that
mayor
far.
had. What was the non-traffic ticket bill that the mayor had was on? She actually had a ticket book.
Yes, she
Well,
did have a
those,
ticket book.
the ticket books are, they're all for parking, they're all
Well,
parking.
but if you made something like that,
Similar to that.
for our ordinances, citation for this stuff, non-traffic for this crap.
I don't know
And
why,
that's
I
kind
don't
of,
understand that, I'll have to look at it and see, because you would have had it as an attachment.
This is a ticket, this is not a citation,
Right,
but I was
right.
just looking, they have the envelope where the people can put their fine in and just pay the damn thing. But here, that doesn't exactly help. If they don't solve the problem, they pay one fine and go back tomorrow to fining them
recycle.
again for the same, yeah, so you'd be dumb if you go down this road.
Right, right.
But it seems to me we should have something in order, in case somebody pushes us.
All right.
With,
Yeah, definitely.
with us? Did you need to see this, Kevin, what's here?
You may have one for the.
It's just,
That might be one that I never got opened up.
It's just a starting point, just
Right,
an idea
right.
here. Did you see it? I'll show you.
How long ago did you send that one?
Jack, you see this?
Well, it's whenever we started talking about
Okay.
this stuff.
I'll have to go back through them. and
It
make sure.
doesn't matter.
It might have I might not have opened the
I think
paper.
it was
but
with,
on it.
it was with the one where you had a ticket.
Yes, yes, it's that.
Okay.
Well, here's,
Yeah.
right
Yeah.
here it is. This is probably what you saw, the courtesy notice. And we just have a variation of that is what
Right,
we've done,
exactly.
right here. It's-
Yeah, and then they have with ordinance and, you know, what it is,
Yeah.
it's all graphic.
By the way, in short order, you did a nice job.
Yes, it is.
I'll work on it.
Yeah, yeah, well, we'll find this as we go.
Yeah. Learn to cut
But anyway, it
straight
seems to me we should not forget about this actual citation. Okay, so we're clear there.
To an extent, I mean,
We are also going to have, apparently we need a special meeting.
That's what I
And there will be one thing on the agenda, apparently Jessica requires a vote from us and some signatures. Apparently the 7th is too late for her. So if you can do this on next Wednesday, we'll just call this a special meeting. The meeting will last all of 5 minutes. There'll be one item, we'll vote, we'll do it,
Okay,
then
yeah,
we'll sign her stuff.
yeah, it should
And
be.
then we went on the second.
Yes, that sounds about right to me. All right, I think citation was, is there anything else from the past? Sir, sinkhole insurance, door hangers, yes. What about the trailer out there? It's still out there.
Still
Just
there, I
real
gotta
quick.
get something typed up.
You're going to do it, this is going to happen.
Yeah, it
So
is
we
gonna
don't-
happen, I just haven't had time with
Good enough,
all
good
the
enough.
other
There's all
stuff
kind of
yet.
crap. Yeah, so, cut her some break here. We have been inundated with bad discoveries, real bad discoveries. On that note, would you bring the minutes as you have them out, bring that book, and then bring the ordinance book, the official one, and I'll come and help you.
Okay,
Because
the
we do a lot
actual
of
one,
crap.
not the,
We're gonna do some work here, so we need one of the crappy ones too.
No, my oldest granddaughter graduates from college on the 7th of May in South Carolina. We're going down there for that. And the girl bought the wife a trip for her birthday. Out west. And she won't go herself, so I had to pay for my own way.
Oh, that wasn't.
So where you heading out west?
Well, we fly into Vegas and then put to the bus there and go to Phoenix, stop the flight staff at Grand Canyon, also National Park, Bryce Canyon, Mount Rushmore, half a dozen other places, we ended up in South Dakota and then fly back from South Dakota. We'll be on 13 days. And then,
And here's a nice air, a whole big, you know, that's a loop, a big loop to get.
and then my daughter Charlene, who's in the Army, on the 8th of June, she's getting major pension in the Army.
Yeah.
So it's closer for me to go from North Carolina to Tennessee than it is to go from North Carolina to here. And it's 700 miles back to Tennessee, so I might as well just,
Sorry. She's
and then I probably might pretty much home.
She's going to come, official aids make it easier if she has something here that we can
But,
see. The minutes aren't going to require much of our time. She
I
can
have-
fix that.
1, 2, 3, 4, 6 doctor's appointments last month, and everyone to my place will be passing here.
Okay, what she's bringing now, this is your minutes
This
book?
is what I keep, yeah, most of the minutes
But
in,
did
all the
you-
agendas, all that kind of stuff,
Did you
anything
guys-
meeting related.
Read the crap I sent about how minutes are to be done. You got to read that.
Yeah, this
Okay.
is anything meeting related is in there.
Basically, the minutes should be in a book like this, that is numbered, and she will paste the minutes in here, and then she stamps it, because minutes are carved in stone once we approve them.
Once they're approved, yeah.
So she stamps the minutes and catches the page. You guys all saw that in the crap that so you can take care of that
Yeah, I
on
can
your
do
own
that.
without
That's
our
not gonna
help.
be a
But just go
problem.
back to this year.
Okay,
Just do this year. The rest, that's somebody else's problem.
yeah.
Okay, now the problem with an ordinance is not carved in stone. They're constantly being amended, they're constantly being changed, or being repealed. So just to use an example, if we were here and we changed something on page 184, this is a floodplain, it doesn't matter what it is, if it went 2 pages, you have to copy every single page. It's not workable, it's stupid, it's not how it's to be done.
In
So,
other words, if she has to add, then
I
she
have
has
to
to
Okay.
adjust the pages the whole way
every
back.
way back. So the last ordinance we did not make it in here, and it can't make it in here. This isn't how they're supposed to be.
Because
Neither-
you can't add pages to the book either, you have to,
Yeah, they have to be in number sequences.
No, not for ordinances. Yeah, well, kind
yeah,
of,
kinda.
yeah. Let me describe what the ordinance, what it should look like here as best I can. After we pass an ordinance, so I'm required to sign it, and if the mayor should sign it, she's not necessarily required, if she doesn't.
But she should if available.
She should, and then you are supposed to, you would attest to that, and then the final thing you would do is she would add her borough seal to that to show that it's official. Okay, the original that is signed is to be kept in an ordinance file. So when Mr. Spade comes up, and Reverend Spade wants to see the ordinances, he does not get the original. Now here's what happens. You then make a copy, an exact copy, and you put it in a book. It should be like that, a binder,
Like
where you can
Right.
change things. And she also puts her seal. That seal attests that that is an accurate copy. That's what you give to the public, because if everyone gets the original,
It'd be all beat up.
yes, it'll be all beat up. So in this copy, it doesn't even have to have the mayor or the president's signature. Once she attests to that, that is official, that stands up in court, that is in the borough code. And I sent you all some stuff to read this very thing right now, just going over. So we want to change this tonight. We're stuck. We can't amend these, even this junk thing that we want to do. We cannot fix this ordinance. That defeats the purpose of codified ordinances. That's why we did these things, is,
Exactly.
to make your ordinances workable so we can find them real easily. So
A lot
what
simpler.
we,
And a lot simpler.
yes, so here's what we're going to do. This may not be as formidable as it sounds. This book here, we have to replace this book, we have to pass an ordinance. So we're going to basically replace this. This starts in 1975, ordinance number 113. So we're going to look in here, and we're going to find, this is not an official book. But this will help us get this whole process done. Every ordinance that's in here, this is going to sound more formidable than it is, has to be transferred to a new book and have to go through this whole procedure that I just described. When you look at that, you say, Jesus Christ, we can't do this. That it won't be as formidable as it sounds. I gave you a list
Yeah, you
already
want me to go
of...
print it? Would that be
No,
okay?
we don't have to print it, but what we'll do is if we can take those out right away from 113 on, So we just have to find ordinance 113 in here.
It
and
should
be in here.
It might be in there, but I can look.
Yeah, this looks a little
Check.
too thin to me.
Yeah,
I'd
This-
say that looks awful.
Yeah, I think we need something else.
where does that one start?
That's what I can't actually find. This is 188.
Okay, so I need the other one.
Yeah, so we have to go from 113 up. Now, most of these ordinances, we're gonna split these up among all of us. And this sounds really bad, but it isn't. Most of these ordinances will be like we're gonna split them up into stuff that doesn't have to be included. It's no longer an ordinance, has either been repealed or expired. Some of them are real easy. Every year you do the tax ordinance, or after you do the budget, you pass that ordinance, and you say what your millage is going to be.
Your millage would be, or your per capita, what it would be.
Okay, so we're gonna split them. We're gonna each take from 113 up to the top here, it's gonna be about 100 ordinances. So we'll split 20 apiece, or whatever it comes out.
Okay, right here's where 113 starts.
Okay, so some of what you're gonna find, you'll look through 20, and whenever you come by one of those tax ordinances, it says our taxes are gonna be at 28 mils for the next year, take that out. That will not be.
Every year you'll be able to eliminate.
Yes,
at
so
least one.
just think, from 1970, there's gonna be 45 of those or more, right in this book, so automatically about 45 of them will come out. Then if you were to see another ordinance that say we borrowed money, for example, that would be done with, that would not be passed forward. So you take those out. And then this is going to be the hard part, so then what you're left with, which isn't going to be that formidable, you have to decide, has this been repealed and is now in 194? If you're in doubt, leave it in. Just leave it in. You'll have narrowed the field for us considerably, just if you take out those two. And most of the stuff I already took, what I listed is what is going to go from this book to the new book that we have to create by ordinance. And what were there? Is there about 8 or 10 there
Yeah,
on the
I'd
list?
say about, 8 or 10.
Do you want to, I know you're faster than me. Will you look those up, pull them out of here?
Okay.
Somebody, I don't remember what number.
I'm gonna go look and see which ones you gave me, and
Hold on, I
You
have
have
it right
it?
here. I have it right here. I
Let's see,
wrote
if you
them
have
down.
it, I can write it down, and then I know what I'm
Here
looking
they
for.
are. It's 133 is where we start.
Okay.
So 133, we know is going to, these are the ones that I know will stay. They stay because they are referenced in the codified ordinances. So in other words, you read the codified ordinance, it will say, see ordinance 133. So those cannot be repealed. Yeah, once we get rolling on
This
this.
one doesn't have a number on
So
it.
we're interested in everything from 113 up. Everything below 113 stays in volume number 1. It stays the same. We're just replacing volume number 2.
Okay, there's 133.
Okay, so take that one out.
That's what, 19, what was it?
1989.
89.
133, that one stays. Okay, 135 will stay.
What about 134? That's
No
a tax
mention.
one.
Yeah, that's taxes, so that one, take it out, so nobody gets it. So if you see one of those, that's the no pile.
This is the no pile, so this one stays.
Yeah, take it out though, so they don't have to look over it twice. We're gonna make piles
All right,
here.
yes.
You kind of with me, how this
Yep,
is?
I got you. 135 stays.
135 stays.
136 goes.
137 stays.
Oh, I guess 137.
138 stays. $140.
139.
That's everything
What
on
is
that
one
list.
thirty?
That's tax
Tax,
levy.
okay,
You
so every
sent
time.
that list today, what is
Yes.
it, last, today, I think you
Yes.
said that. Okay.
Yes.
141 goes, it's taxed. 142.
152 stays is the next one. I don't know what's in between there. If you find, if they obviously look wrong to you, take them out.
142 is
But if in doubt, don't go through reading it now.
something about pool tables.
That one's been repealed, so I know you can take that one out. Just have to remember that one.
I think that's had something to do with like the small games of chance, like with.
Holding
Got
tank
so much from
ordinance
pool
is
tables,
142.
pinball machines, stuff like that.
what is it, holding
This
tank?
holding tank,
That one's been covered in the new ordinance, so you can take that one out.
and
That was
stay or go.
covered in what the sewage too, Coalport.
Yes,
The holding tank one was in.
yeah, that we said it's on 43, that one would go. That one's covered in the new ordinance. The next one that,
You're looking for 150.
152 is the next one that I know for sure. Some of these you may not know, but we'll get through this point first.
49 is a tax levy, so that one can definitely.
That one goes.
I'll look at these ones later. Let's see what they are. Okay, 150.
152.
Right there. Okay, 152. It is. It's a long one.
Yeah, that's why I said, what is the topic of that ordinance, just out of curiosity?
Requiring and providing that all owners of improved property within 150 feet of the sewer
Sewer
system
system.
owned and operated by the
Okay, so what I did, instead of putting that whole thing in the new ordinances, we just refer to that, just, it's easier.
It's
That's
13
what they
pages
wrote.
long.
Yeah, that's why.
the borough wrote to agree to the BCIMA's full agreement.
Yes,
What that one was
yes.
for.
That's tax levy, that can go. All right, 152.
Yeah, that goes on your pile over here. Yeah, it stays, you have a good pile.
54 can go, 55 can go too, both tax levies. Okay, 56.
The next one that you're looking for that I'm aware of would be 161. It's these other ones in between, I don't know, so we'll have to look at them.
Okay, 161.
That stays, that gives them a good,
It's only one page.
Yep, one page, double sided.
we are getting going, we're keeping our piles straight, right?
This stays, this goes.
Okay. Next one that stays is 164. That I'm aware, I'm not saying the other ones don't
Well,
stay, I don't
62
know.
and 63 are tax levies, so they'll
They go, okay.
64 is one page long,
Okay, yeah.
65 is tax levy,
And
so 66. So 67.
Alright, so you're getting most of the tax levies out. The next one that stays that I have is 194.
It's been back there pretty good.
94.
194, which is the codified ordinance.
That's in that one.
Oh,
I don't even have that one.
oh, what's that one in? All right.
I've got 184, 185 is the last one in this one, I think. Is that 5 or a 6?
I don't know.
This is a 5 or a 6.
In your codified 194, did it list that these ones were excluded?
No, the ones, no, if they're not listed, you'll have to, the best way to do this, I could send you this, but you may have to borough code, is to read section, it's chapter 33, 13301, and I know you're a little bit familiar with some of that, but if you get to
Yeah, I put it in the
133
last, if you look on the,
Yes,
you
Yes.
have to create a subsequent ordinance to amend. It says council can amend the repeal and all that by subsequent.
yes, that's right. Now,
Ordinance.
you gotta go down to 130, you gotta remember, codification is treated differently, which is why there's a whole section, you have to go down to 133, what is it?
You sure, you sure,
5.
oh, you sure it wasn't 3001.1?
Hold on, yeah, it's 3301, I'll find it here real quickly.
Yeah, 33 or 30?
33, it's chapter 33, so the number of the ordinance would be,
But doesn't it say in 3301.01, I mean, .1, doesn't it
Yes.
say council may repeal by
yes,
creating a subsequent,
yes. Yeah,
So it
create a
would be not-
subsequent ordinance, you
195 then it'll be?
No, this is a codified ordinance. So you do this differently, you're dealing with the articles here instead of the one big ordinance, and that was the purpose of that. So we're dealing with ordinance 195, say Article 420. Suppose
Okay,
we want to get
right.
rid, we just do that section. The whole ordinance stays the same, but we could add a 430, 425 or something if you add it in. The whole purpose of codification, before, suppose you did a traffic ordinance, ordinance number 1. You didn't do another one till ordinance number 23 and another one till 54. You couldn't keep track of them, you know what I mean? You couldn't find everything. So now all your ordinances are in one little grouping, so all your traffic is together, all the general.
Well, that was my
This-
question
yes.
several work sessions before. Did 194 eliminate everything previous?
Everything but what I'm listing here. And now there's stuff, we're not going into Volume 1. Volume 1 is going to be left alone, but there's a lot of stuff in there that has been repealed by virtue of 194, but you can't get it out.
Well, you're not going to take it out of that book, are you?
This book will no longer exist.
Well, no, it has to be
Well, it
retained by the
exists, but it will no
retention law.
longer- this
The
will-
retention
We
law.
can keep the book.
Yeah.
We can keep the book, but it'll no longer be an ordinance book. It will no longer be legal. It'll be there for archives, for historical reference, but the new book that we are creating will now be the legal.
But you have to create an ordinance to
Yes,
create a new book.
Yes, that's right, and that's what we're going to do. And all that is spelled out for you right in the code. You just follow the steps, follow the steps.
You wanna do
Thank you,
that
Mr. President.
particular Same night as the thing with Jessica, just do two things and get.
No,
started.
I want
You're
to
gonna
pass
do
on
the
that
regular
one.
meeting.
Yes, yeah, I don't like to have these special meetings, particularly, I don't want to have too much stuff in there, so we'll do a single-purpose meeting. This, while you're doing that, this leads us to, remember the last ordinance that we did, it was the definition for 420? Did you advertise that one already by chance?
Which one?
420, the definitions of junk autos.
Yes.
Okay, see, so that the pressure is on us a little bit. We have, after she advertises that, we have 60 days to deal with it, or we have to start over and spend more money. So I'd like to get this done by the next meeting, so we can pass an ordinance to start a new book, a replacement book.
I'll double check and see when it actually ran, so
Okay?
that we have a better idea.
Yeah, I know
But-
we already have, you
yeah.
know, this has to be between 7 and 60 days, so after 60 days, if we can't do it, we can't, but I'm gonna try, just so we aren't wasting money.
I mean, sometimes they
Calvin
run
and I
them,
hate wasting money.
sometimes they run them pretty directly, sometimes they
Okay.
don't, but
When's the public allowed to see this? It has to be open for public
Yeah,
inspection.
Yeah, as soon as we'll advertise.
Will be next meeting that you're going to vote on this?
Well, if we can, we have to, a minimum of 7 days, so the public has at least a week to vote. So, depends on how close we get. The meeting is on the 7th. I don't know how fast we can do this, but we'd like to advertise. This is no big deal, because everything that is a legal ordinance in this book will simply be transferred to the replacement book. And the reason is, this is dysfunctional. And that's, they use a different word. I'll have to find the word.
But didn't you list the ones in 194? Didn't you list the ordinances that it affected?
No,
I
you
thought
only
I saw a
no,
list
you
of
only
them.
list the ones that you're keeping. Everything else that's not listed, it's repealed. We just followed through, we have the lawyers, so we're fine. We're very careful to do things by the book, so we don't want to be caught up in what's happening to us now. So if we follow the borough code, we're going to have a reasonably well-run operation here, if we just do that. Because it's well written and a lot of thought has gone into it, so I try to follow the code to the T if I can. Can we get, do you want us all to help?
I'm just taking out the taxes right now,
Okay.
tax
Like
ordinances.
taking them out, if she goes three, well, there's nothing 1 year except 3 tax ordinances.
Yeah, 3 years in a row, that's
Three
the
out of-
taxes.
That covers a whole year,
Covered 3 years.
or 3 years.
Truck loans for March 2016. Is that stuff all done?
Well, I don't know, if it's a loan, it is
To
an
accept loan for purchase of new truck.
Okay, that one has to stay. If it were an old loan, for example, that has been paid off, I would think everything after 194, just off the top, without even seeing them, I would think they would stay. Does that sound right to you, Angel?
Probably, yeah.
I didn't read any of them.
There might be like 1 or 2 tax ones to get rid of, but that would probably be about it. After
Okay.
that, everything else would probably
So
still
the only tax one that would stay would be the one for 2018. It was probably passed in 2017.
was the end of 2017.
So that would be the only tax one you would keep, and the only loan that you would keep would be the loan that you just saw.
Okay, I think that's all the taxes.
This is 16.
The rest of this, how many is that? You took quite a few out there, didn't you?
There's the only two that was in, this is the one we'll have to keep, this is the one from the 4th day of December 2017.
Yeah,
Yes.
The tax rate of 2018.
That's-
Yeah, we
that
have to
one
keep that,
stays.
because that's
That's
for
for this
this year. That should have been one of the latter ones, there might be one after that, or 2 after.
this first ordinance in here is,
Well, you can do it that way. If we can figure out,
this is a compilation of ordinances, so this right here, it's like they had codified 4. Right, yeah, all this right here is one ordinance. Like, it's a compilation of the ordinances of Coalport, so it's like they,
from, it goes all
Looks
the way
like
to 213.
1898 to
2013.
2013, I didn't even know that was in there.
No, I'd leave that for historical reasons. I don't know why it's there or what that's all about.
alright. These are updates
Yeah,
of
again,
ordinances.
some of those are the old ones. We don't need, all we need to do is go from, what is it, 113 forward. 113 is where we're going to start. Everything else stays the same.
119.
Okay, there. See, now here's the problem. I don't know how we're going to exactly read those and figure out. If you have to be real familiar with the codified ordinances. What is that? Let's just take them.
This says an ordinance regulating the maintenance of unoccupied buildings in the borough of Coalport which have become dilapidated and are reason thereof a nuisance to safety, health,
Okay,
and welfare.
that
That
would-
would be covered.
That would be repealed. Yes, is that what you mean, to be covered in the new ones?
Yeah.
Because what you'll find throughout the years, since borough didn't know what they did years ago, they just kept passing similar ordinances time after time.
So that one I
So
would
you'll
assume-
find a whole bunch like that.
Yeah, I would assume that would be.
So take that one out. Yeah, we have to use the new ones. Maybe this is how we're going to have to do this.
So this sticky note just says blighted buildings, so,
Yeah, so blighted buildings is covered by 194.
yeah.
So that one can go. That would go in a discard pile.
If you want to see a good example of codification, Curwensville will show you theirs. And as it went down through, it would say ordinance 1, let's take for example,
Yeah, it would
130,
refer back to the
it would say
original ordinance.
repealed. And then the next line,
Yes.
it would, each ordinance had to be a name that was going to be
Yes.
repealed or amended.
Yes, different municipalities have different ways of going about it. A lot of it depends on their attorney. And some are more clear than others. We don't have many ordinances, like Clearfield or Curwensville would have, so,
Well, I misunderstood because I thought you told me in session that 194 eliminated everything previous. And
it eliminated a lot, a lot. That's, which is the purpose of it. But for the reason I mentioned, you can't find anything in ordinances that are passed sequentially. You forget where they are, traffic all spread out, everything's spread out all through it.
Just like 130 had all kinds of definitions that weren't in your 194.
Something happened there to 194. Some of us remember that. But we have to play the hand we've been
It's
dealt.
not the
We just
contract,
fix
it's
it.
the ordinance.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Yeah, I know.
Which one?
I'm gonna assume we keep 122. It's the ordinance created that we were gonna join COG, which is the Michiana
Yes.
Valley Council.
Yes.
So I'm assuming that one
Yes.
would be a keep.
Yes.
Ordinance
That
125.
didn't show up in yours. That actually should have been in here. Under administrative code, let me look that up.
125 is something about water treatment plants and making repairs.
Okay, that one,
We incurred $15,000 worth of debt.
that one will go.
This is amending water enacted January 13, 1905, requiring. all
1905, that will go, since we no longer have that. Right, we don't have that stuff anymore.
owners- I don't know. There's 205.
But all these pages are part of volume 2, the ordinance book
Now, we're not
2.
gonna throw that away, obviously, it just will no longer be enforced.
Okay.
Okay. This is a water project, again, principal amount of $420,000, the purpose of providing a portion of the cost, improving the
Yeah.
water system. and
Yeah,
the
that,
sewage.
what year is that one, just out of curiosity?
1982.
See, the one about COG actually should have been in with, should have been part of the codified ordinances. So we'll have to decide if we want to add that at some point.
Ordinance 130. I think this one's
What is
this
that?
one is for prohibiting dumping or otherwise depositing of ashes, garbage, rubbish, and other refuse materials, which
I
would be
think
covered.
we would have that, right, that would be in the codified.
What ordinance is that?
130,
Yeah.
and there's an amendment. And the amendment was made in 1998.
So both of those would show up.
Yeah, they would both be in here. 133, this floodplain management.
That one you should have kept, I thought that one was to go out. That happens to keep it. You already took them out, didn't you? There wasn't one for
Yeah,
us. That's the
yeah.
first one we started with.
Yeah.
Gotta go.
I gotta run to another meeting.
Thanks, Joe.
Whatever you're gonna do with these, if you're gonna divide them up, then what do we gotta?
I think she's working her way through them right
She's
now.
doing a better job probably than
Then
us.
yeah,
All right.
yeah.
Just keep me up, I'll get with her tomorrow, she
Yeah.
can tell me, keep me up to date on what.
How many, we have one more meeting before the board.
Yes,
Council
you said next Wednesday we'd have our special meeting, correct?
Yes, yes, so if we're gonna get this done, we will have to hustle.
Yeah, have to make
It
sure
depends on
that's
what her
advertised,
schedule
too.
is, so right, we have to advertise, all that stuff.
What time are you gonna have this special meeting?
Probably be the same Wednesday, the same time, just at this hour. And it should last 5 minutes, right, I would think?
I would think,
Just-
she just needs some signatures about,
Yeah, so we're
5
gonna
minutes
vote
off.
and say we approve this, and then I'll sign it, and then we'll end that meeting and go
Bye,
right to
Joe.
our workshop.
That's it.
See you, Jack. See you, Joe.
Yeah, Joe.
Well, what you've done already, this puts you ahead of the game a bit, right?
yeah. This one's holding tanks again.
That one can go. That stuff's covered.
This one is a guaranteed BCI May from 1991. Ordinance authorizing Coalport Borough to execute and deliver a guarantee agreement with BCI Municipal Authority in Pennsylvania.
Hold on just a second. Speed here, sewers, structures, all right, BCI, all right, here we go. Any property within the borough upon which there is a structure intended for human habitation or use, and from which sewage and industrial waste may be discharged, is that part of it? General sign. It says the owner of any improved property within 150 feet of the sewer system.
No, that's a different one. That's one we already took out.
What's the, or what is
This
this?
one looks like it's just our agreement to let BCI and they bring their water through. That when they brought the water
Yeah.
through, we were gonna take it and hook onto it, so.
I may have that.
What year was that?
1991. 28th day of May, 1991.
Who was the
I would
mayor
say
at
I'd
that
keep
time?
that.
Thomas Madalena.
There's nothing on here, see, that should have, there should be some, I would keep that one. It actually should have been in here, but it isn't.
This one is about dogs, which we have that
We have
covered in
that one.
ours.
That's covered by state statute.
This just says you can't let your dog or your cat or your
Yeah,
horse run loose.
we have that one.
Okay, this one is another one with BCI Bay.
I'd say for the moment, keep it, just unless you see something that's, what's, we can go over it more carefully. What's it all about?
An ordinance authorizing Coalport Borough to execute and deliver a quantity agreement with BCI and the municipal authority and the Pennsylvania infrastructure,
Keep it, it doesn't.
something
Sure.
about BCI May getting a loan.
Oh, if it was backing for a loan and you got the loan, it's been paid off, you can get rid of it. Is that what I'm hearing? All right, you're doing that, I'll go through this. Construction sewer, yeah, has to borrow money.
Okay, this is an ordinance,
Yeah, we guaranteed the loan,
this one is an ordinance
$1.5
saying.
million. Where's your
Kids-
throwaway?
Throw away, this is key. This one says that kids under the age of 16 can't be on the sidewalks after a certain time.
Okay, we have that one covered as well.
Yeah, can't be on the sidewalk, streets, or alleys,
Yeah. What do you call that, curfew?
I guess, unless they're accompanied by an adult.
Yeah, we modified it, but we're covered there.
Yeah.
We're not enforcing it like that. No, we may have even taken it out, which means it can be repealed.
I don't know what this one says. I can't read that one.
Whoa. Ordinance. So the government trust is.
I thought all this was done for 194.
Most of it. Yeah, most of this stuff has been repealed. It's-
So you're gonna insert some of
No.
them back in?
Into 194, at some point, it seems like there was at least one there we probably could have, otherwise it stands on its own as an active ordinance. So they're active now in this book, unless they've been repealed by 194. Some of these have not been repealed by 194, therefore they're active ordinances.
But what I think I heard you say, you're gonna create an ordinance to create a new book,
Yes.
and then you're gonna make a new 194 over
No.
there? A or something?
No, 194 will just move right into that book as it is. All these things, you'd have to read the procedure that she has to go through. And I don't want to go through the whole I send it all to them, so they know what it is. We'll just do what you saw, right? You got it. There's just a bunch of steps we have to follow, and we'll just follow every step. I'd throw this into the discard pile.
The next one I have is an ordinance for us to join the investment trust. I would say probably keep that because we are still part of investment trust, and it's just that we we get a percentage every month. I think it's like $1.79. but
Yeah,
it's-
keep it, still an
it's
ordinance.
Pennsylvania.
It hasn't been repealed.
This one, an ordinance repealing the mechanical device tax
That
ordinance,
one's covered, you get, it's repealed something anyway.
and it's handwritten.
Yeah, you can get rid of that one.
172, regulating parking on the borough streets, authorizing council to make such rules and changes.
That one can go.
That one's covered. Local Real Estate Transfer Tax Act, providing levy assessment and collection of real estate
That
transfer
one,
tax.
that one's covered.
Requiring all persons to
Yeah,
My mother, yeah.
obtain an
City,
assessment permit
thanks.
for the construction of,
Yeah.
I think this one's covered. This is just that you have to have a permit if you're building,
Yes, we have
so
that.
that one's covered.
Is that in, yeah, that is in,
I think it's in there. Building code, chapter 6.
I'm sure it is.
Yeah, it shall be unlawful to construct or make renovations to any building, including construction of its again under Pennsylvania construction code without obtaining a permit, so it's covered. This one is on outdoor furnaces.
We have that covered. We amended that.
This isn't part of the ordinance, but you might want to keep it. It's just a little thing that shows you how high your chimney has to actually be.
It's covered under DEP.
Yeah, I think all this stuff constantly changes, so you can get rid of that. It's covered in our ordinance as well, just since we have the ordinance, we've maintained it.
Okay, this one is an ordinance preventing all owners and occupants of property located within the borough from discharging or permitting the discharge of inflow and infiltration into the sewer system.
That was covered.
Reenacting, restating, and amending its earned income tax ordinance and establish conformity within the local tax enabling act is amended by Act 32 of July 2nd, 2008, levying a tax on earned
Yeah,
income.
give that. Put that one.
It's a long one, it looks like, so.
That previous one, I still have 2 feet of water in my basement, so I can't pump that out into the drain system. Is that what I'm hearing? You have an ordinance against it?
I don't think we do. I'm not sure on that. I'd have to look at that ordinance, to be honest with you.
Because council, without written authority,
Right.
authorizing me, told me to pump it out, but when I talked to DEP, it's $1,000 fine for pumping water
Right,
out.
I know usually you're not allowed to mix storm water with sanitary sewer. To storm drains and sanitary sewer.
Yeah,
remain
but
separate.
in my basement, I only have a partial basement, and there's 2 feet of water. And
Wow. Yeah, I'll find some way to get that out
What did they tell you to do the hook up, like you're gonna sub pump it?
That's what
What
I
do you
do.
put, what do you
Right.
put your sub pump in?
well,
I mean, just
I
asking
mean,
since you brought it up.
I mean, the borough gave me their pump, told me to pump it, and then I found out from, because this problem came about, well, it's 3 years now, at the end of the streetscape work. PennDOT said, yes, we took pipes out. And I said, well, why didn't you let me know? And they said, because I figured you're going to put them back in. Well, we don't do that. We're not permitted by law to put them back in. So they took my pumps, my basement drains out, and I have no drain.
Wow.
So it's a dam now.
We better forge it.
This is basically kind of like 194. It covers everything, but it's 184. From what I gather, it covers permits, garbage, refuse, and it says it's benefit Coalport and its residents better. It kind of goes over everything a little bit. It has a piece in there
Was it
about
the state or the people that
different
do it?
chemicals.
Well, I went down and they said that all the work, that all the files were given back to the borough. And there was a period of time there that remediation could be done. You know, they could have turned it in as a complaint. Well, they didn't do it.
Yeah.
The borough didn't wanna deal with it at all.
It's terrible what they did up on the hill too, Jeremy. You know, with everything that they dug up and then didn't put back.
Yeah,
I'd say we don't
That
need it.
line that goes
We
below my place
would
right
use
now,
the uniform construction code
the
now.
borough did come up, you know, because it's along the road.
Okay, and
It's,
then,
it's actually a street, right up there,
oh yeah,
the red
that
dog.
just leaves that one.
And none of that
That had
crap,
actually
stop
started
with
sticking
that.
up out of the
So
ground.
so what that leads you is,
We had to open
these are the
pipe down
keepers,
there.
right?
Wait, there's 96, I missed. Oh, wait.
And then there's another pipe. Well, they dug up till they
What number is
found
that?
existing
96.
pipe
Yeah,
and then
that wouldn't count. That would be
And it
before,
runs
which
constantly.
you're just going from 113
Yeah, that's why it's-
forward.
24/7.
Yeah, 112, okay, this is
Diane
96,
Carazini
112, so,
lived across from me.
so these go
The
right.
state come in
Yes,
and
yeah, they're not included.
French
They're,
drain
yeah, they're in the old ordinance book.
above her house. They actually dug, it was like 15
This-
foot long.
Is 194 in
Filled
here?
it with full
No,
of gravel.
194 is not.
Okay, so 194, that has to be
yeah.
And now,
in this.
my basement,
So we
I've
have
never
to,
had a
I
problem
gave
with
you, I sent
As
you
being on
this
that
list. We
I
have
actually, my
to add
basement,
all
in
of
one
these
corner,
to it.
the farthest corner, is dropped this far. My basement floor
There'll
is
be
actually
quite a bit of
cracked.
work there. Do you know what I mean?
And you
Yeah,
can see the
I
water
know what you
outside.
mean, but
Subsidence.
most of them are pretty,
Well,
pretty.
I really still believe the
You do
DEP
have the
is
procedure
wanted
I
to
sent
put
you
a
from the
channel
Bureau
for
of
your
Code
problem
Book
over
Package.
here,
We'll just do
a channel
exactly
down,
what it says,
down
each ordinance.
Spruce Street. That was in the works, and if you guys don't complain about it to DEP, they won't do anything about it. They have to address whatever you bring.
This is the
So
one,
we've got it done.
And this one here, I think if you go through that, I think I pretty well wiped everything out.
yeah, I think that's all
Alright.
mostly the
Because this is all the new stuff as far
Can
as
we
the
just-
truck loan. And, there was only 2 tax bills in it.
Yeah,
For the moment, you want, so everything you need is right here, right? Everything
should
you
be,
need.
yeah. And I'll get started on the minutes. The minutes I can do myself, it won't be hard. I'll just have to order a book, get them
Yes.
printed, get them glued in. It won't be, yeah, and
So
do
there's
seal.
only,
Yeah.
what, 4 or 5 of them by the
Yeah.
time you get that.
Yeah,
This
there's
is
4
May
now.
coming up, right?
You have examples of the old minute books that were here. The one I requested, 1975.
Did they ever do it right? You
Oh
were
yeah,
on.
yeah, they had beautiful books. Mr. Winslow had them. They should be in there.
Yeah, I think they're in the,
How were they done?
They're done like that ordinance book.
yeah, some of them are handwritten and then some are.
Did they have the seal and
I
all
don't
that
know,
stuff?
I never really looked that
Supposed to be a
close.
seal on every page.
Yes. Yeah, somewhere, I don't know when we stopped doing that, but we stopped doing that, and now we've got to get back on track.
But you're relieving my fear. You're not going to destroy that book at all.
We won't destroy
No.
anything, it just won't be an active ordinance book
Okay,
anymore, the
okay.
one we replace it with.
Yeah. But see, there's no. That's why I asked your secretary for 1975 to see if they did a resolution to create that. Otherwise, that book is.
No, this is not a replacement book, this is a continuation. If you read the ordinance, what we're doing is replacement. It's when this book is not functional for you, when it doesn't work anymore, non-serviceable, I think is the word they use.
Yeah, that's right. But I mean,
This-
when they finished number
No,
112, they were supposed to make 113 an ordinance to create that book. But I think what they did
Not
it.
that I've seen in
I
this
think
code.
what they did it by resolution.
Well, all I know, if you do that now, the borough code doesn't require you to do that. If we would fill book number 1, we would just simply continue right on with book number 2. And as long as she's putting her seal, it's legal. Now, we are creating a replacement here, so we have to go through this whole damn procedure.
No,
It's a pain, but if we can't move ahead
No.
if we don't do this.
looking at what now, my thing is, when we talked before we started this, I remember reading there about that numerical sequence about being numbered pages. What was that?
That's
Which-
correct.
Which one are you
When you read,
referring?
when I read that for the borough,
Minutes? For the minutes?
no, I thought for the
Recording?
ordinance.
Ordinance
it said
book had to be
ordinance book
sequenced.
has to be numbered sequence pages.
I don't think so. I don't think
not
I
to
s-
create an argument, Paul.
No,
I
that's
just-
fine.
When I was reading it down through that stuff, because I do try and read, even when I'm
Yes,
driving,
I
if
know,
I get a
I
break,
appreciate that, by the way. that-
I try and read down that stuff and say, okay, now that, I gotta remember that.
I want you to do
Because
that.
I was
I'm
really
glad you did
curious
that.
about what it said about pages in numerical order.
Yes, no.
Yeah.
You and the mayor specifically are supposed, it says the signatures are required, or you, the mayor, and the secretary asked to
The ma-
test it and put the stamp on all pages. She's to make a copy, put a copy, the main one stays in a file, and then
Yes.
the copy is supposed to go in a book in a numerical sequence.
And you're also supposed to file it in the courthouse and
And that was something else, it said about file, that stuff. And the page that, the stuff that she puts in the paper is supposed to be copied onto the ordinance to
Yes.
justify the date and time that she had put it in the
I
paper.
wrote this, it's this, it's basically ordinance adoption procedure that I
Yeah.
sent you, so there it be.
See, that's why, when I started going down that thing about, the advertisement, and then
I
it said
sent you a
about
lot
making,
of shit, and some of them
Yeah.
did say that, but I
and
don't.
making a copy of the newspaper, add onto the ordinance.
Right,
And copy the ordinance into the borough's ordinance book on the day of the following enactment. Certification will be similar to the following. I hereby certify that the foregoing members advertised in the progress on such and such date, a newspaper of general circulation in Coalport Borough was enacted, approved, and set forth on the regular meeting of Coalport Borough. Signed,
Absolutely.
secretary, and seal.
yes.
The original copy of the ordinance, along with the proof of publication, shall be kept in a permanent ordinance file.
right, there's
Yes.
nothing there about numbering, did you notice?
Oh yeah, that's in there.
That's what where did I read?
It's
You read that in the thing about the minutes.
And about the
I've
minutes.
sent you, yeah, that came from the borough code. I've sent you so many different things. Some had to do with
That's what,
minutes, and some with
just so when we
ordinances.
do this, we don't have,
Yes,
Poor
no,
Angel
no,
do it
here's
twice
what's,
because now they're
here's
not
what's numbered. The ordinances are numbered.
Yeah.
They
They
are
have
numbered.
to.
and it
But
should
the
be
book-
in sequence.
Yes.
Like,
Yes,
if I have ordinance 130, I should have that 131, 2, 3, right up till, or
Yes.
skip the ones like, if we
yes,
say
unless we
194,
go
build all
back,
these.
yes, unless we go back and we amend 188, and it'll still be 188. You know, we will just have changed it around. But anyway, my point I was making, the ordinances do not, they are numbered, but they do not go on numbered pages. The minutes go on numbered pages.
I object.
Well,
They have to be sequence in the
Oh,
book.
sequence,
Sequence,
but I
yes.
think.
No, they have to be on numbered sequent pages
Well-
in a locking binding
No,
book.
that, Reverend, you show me that, you send me that
I will.
email,
I'll
and
get.
I will
I'll
look
bring
to
it to you.
In the borough code.
Yeah, it used to be 1008, but now it's 3301 or
Yeah,
what,
and we
and thereafter.
I just don't want Angel to do anything.
It might be 3500.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah,
Really
no,
don't.
better, that's what we want you here for. It's better to go over those things.
I mean, your attorney should have told you all
He
this.
has, that's why I said, we're in good shape. It's absolutely straightforward.
Because I objected to what they had down in Arvona, and you go down and look at it, it is exactly what sequent pages, and it's a beautiful book. They did a beautiful job.
Well, we should go down and look at theirs. See what
Yeah.
they did.
If you talk to the secretary down there, she'll tell you.
Let me see, what am I looking for here?
I think it's the same firm that you're using now. Are you still using Andrew Beers?
Yes.
Yeah.
This is replacing
I think it was a Rook, our Rook, or
the
a
secretary. Must be
Repro or
copies,
something like
including
that.
the date of enactment approval. There's no mention in here in the replacement book. Here it is. Here's the word they use. If an ordinance book is unserviceable, and that's what this is. It's unserviceable. I have something else. It's clear. This is the code.
Do you use the Borough Association for questions?
We can. Joe uses it a lot.
She will tell you, what's her name, Hawk, Shelley Hawk.
Yes.
She will tell you that they have to be in numbered sequent pages in a locking binding book.
No, sir. Nothing about ordinances. It says that in the entire, and you can search the whole code if you know how to search it here just by doing
Yeah.
a search. And you will not find what you're looking for in the borough code. And I've gone also to the governor's website. They have a site that they're more helpful than most. Ordinances are not like minutes. Minutes do have to be a lot in the book because they're carved in stone. But now we have to keep, here's what we'll do differently. We will keep a permanent file of the originals. And then she will make a book like that with a binder so you can take them in and out. Change them around, but they'll have her seal. So when we repeal something, it will be removed from the ordinance book because it'll no longer be an ordinance.
I'll be safe if you don't put it in a book like that.
Well, there you go. There's your defense.
Because
There's your defense, right?
112, if you go look at 112, it was never finished, and they took me to court on
There's no point.
112.
I don't want to go back and rehash that war that you had with them. We can't
Yeah.
do anything about that. But if you feel we're in the wrong, there's your defense.
Yeah, it is.
I think you're basically just switching books. The
That's all
minutes
we're
will now
doing.
be in this kind and the
Yes,
ordinance will
that's
be in this
exactly it. That's exactly it.
It's just a,
Yeah, I sent you so much stuff.
Yeah,
And
like
I
I
don't
said,
know
I
what
do
else
try
to
to
do.
go over
You-
before Wednesday,
I appreciate
that
that.
I know that,
Right,
you
so
know-
you're up to speed here.
well, we're at least have an idea what we're talking about. And like I said, that number, when I was reading about
Yeah.
that, I said, how in the world would you ever fix it? It's gotta be numbered sequence,
That
glued to the
is-
page, and have the newspaper article in there.
Here it is.
That,
Here's
you
the
know,
one you read right here. And if you notice, this one's for minutes. And we're gonna use book number
including the
2.
minutes of the proceedings of the record shall be recorded and
With consecutively numbered
permanently
pages.
sealed with consecutively numbered pages, which is that.
Right, right.
So, yeah, reading this, definitely our minutes have to be done
Yes,
that way.
and that is not mentioned when you talk about ordinances.
Right.
The minutes also have to be logged.
And she's
That
supposed
is
to-
not mentioned when they talk
Yeah.
about ordinances.
Right.
so I need to get a
I'll-
ledger but
I'll
logs.
stand corrected, but I'm gonna look
It
at,
doesn't have to lock. But here's the other, we're using, remember I sent you that thing, number 2 in a bound book? Remember there's
Oh,
1
yeah,
and
that's
2?
right. Yeah,
You
we're
said
doing
number
option
2 would work better. If you
Yeah.
want to do number 1, that
Yeah.
is fine.
No,
But
'cause
either
both
of these two, no, it sounds, number 1 and number 2, we're childish here.
Yeah, the
That's
second
what you
option.
wrote me
Yeah,
about. You
yeah.
said option number 2 would work best for you.
Yeah, I think so.
So then do option, we don't care, as long as you meet one of those 2 criteria.
Okay. That won't take long to do either.
No, I wouldn't think that would.
If by the time the ledger gets here, it'll take me like 30 minutes to get it all.
This one, if you need help, that's why we're here, we will
Yeah.
help.
Yeah, I'm off certain days of the week. I'm
Yeah.
probably off and-
We'll do what we have to do. I would like to get this ordinance book straightened out by May 7th,
Okay.
which means we have to advertise it a week before, so there's not much time.
No, that's just what we'll focus on. You know, it's one of those, last week we focused on insurance, this week we'll, the next
If you
couple
can
weeks,
do it.
we'll focus on this and.
Look, if you can't, you can't.
Okay.
That's all there is to that, all right?
I think we can get it done, I don't think
Well,
it'll be.
But it's like anything else, too. We gotta be careful with too many cookies in the jar, too many.
We have a lot of
projects,
balls in the
yeah,
air right now.
Where maybe this one especially now, since we found it, should be a key deal to where those other things that were like trying to worry about somebody's trash could wait
Yes, yes.
until we get this done. Let's
Yeah.
get this
We have
project
to-
done.
Because it's the front of the train.
Right.
You know, we can't do anything else if we're not right here.
So she
This
should
is
probably
what
pay,
we'll focus on.
if she has the opportunity, pay more attention to this,
That's,
and not worry about my
Yes,
tickets
yes.
or any of that other stuff. You know, that this should be her priority, other than the day-to-day things that she has to do.
I can't imagine that you don't have 3 months to do this. I mean, this is a ton of work for anybody to do.
if she can't, you
I
can't.
mean, it's just unreasonable.
Maybe I shouldn't put that type of pressure. You will know
That's
when
fine.
you get into it.
I'll know when I get into it,
Okay.
I'm good under pressure, it's okay.
And-
Yeah, she does a good job
Right,
for us.
there's
She's
nothing wrong with
Oh,
going
fast.
back and
sure,
saying,
yeah.
hey, this is the glitches I've run into,
Yes.
and this is what,
And,
you know, I'm not, but May 7th is a good deadline to say, let's see what we can get done.
yes, that's our
By that
target.
time, that's the target date, so that we can vote on it, because obviously, until we get that done, all the things that we do, even pertaining to 194, 192,
You
they really
can't
don't
do
exist.
it. Right.
They don't exist.
Already, we have to repeat one ordinance, we have to redo the setback ordinance, because you have to get it in this book within 30 days. That was impossible. Yeah, you can do it. So we will redo.
But I'll have 30 days to look at the books.
It
I
says
don't know
on
if you
there,
have 30.
she has to, after everything's done,
Yes.
What I read, after
Yes.
everything's done, after we say we're finished, you have within 30
30
days
days.
to come up here and go through the two and see if you find any discrepancies that you'd like to have addressed. After 30 days, then she can lock that book away, and the other one's what, is the other one?
You,
the
that's,
other-
then you enact it.
And then we enact it.
Yep.
So,
Yeah, somewhere in here.
it says she has to keep
Yes.
those, all pay, all,
Yes.
everything that we do, whether we're throwing it out, whatever, which is that, will be that book, has to be kept available for 30 days after it gets done.
And it will
But
be-
there is a retentions law that you're
It's
We're
not
not
going-
throwing
it's
anything
not-
away.
No, I'm just
No,
saying,
nobody's throwing anything
you
away.
know, as far as,
because
that book has to be, you have 30 days to come up here and find anything wrong with it,
yeah,
after we say we're done.
I only photographed a few pages in the second one. I have all of the first one, but I'd like to finish photographing all those
Yeah,
sometime.
it's not going anywhere, so.
That's good.
Okay,
Yeah, we'd be stupid to throw that out. That
Yes,
sounds
that's what it
right.
says,
What-
right, the ordinance must be introduced in the council at least 30 days before its final enactment. So we, yeah, that put us on schedule. We can't pass the ordinance, the final enactment is 30 days. Oh, no, I'm looking at something, so I'm in the wrong thing. Forgive me.
You have to vote on it, and then there's
No, I
30
messed up.
days.
Forget everything I just said. Sorry. All right, let me get down through here. It must be recorded in
Here comes trouble.
published once. Well,
Meeting over.
No.
Not really.
okay. All right, you are exactly right. For a period of 30 days from the day of the notice. So you keep it open for 30 days. Stating that the old sentence, so when we, after we do this, you have to advertise it in the paper, and then you have a month for
She
the
has to
public to
advertise
come
that we
in.
are closing the old,
Yes,
starting a new.
yes,
And that if anyone wishes to check out any of the old ordinances, they have 30 days to come and
Yes.
do it. And after that, then basically we can say we're done with that book. It's
Yes.
nothing more than an archive.
yes.
And it's the new book. That's my understanding.
Yes.
Sounds good.
It is a lot of work. You know, but everything's a step, you know, so
Yeah, yes.
to me, I was thinking about it today, since it's just us here. But we start getting all these little projects that end up a little bit bigger than little
We would
projects.
think, yes.
We would think,
Everything happened that way for us.
Right.
Everything.
where it's almost getting to the point now where it's crunch time to break it down and say, okay, wait a minute, we're not playing with any of this other stuff until this is done.
Done, right.
Because we're getting a bunch of
Balls in the
projects.
airs, yeah.
Right, we're getting a bunch of projects in the wheelbarrow that we're not dumping it anywhere.
Right, not been finishing
So,
anything off.
and
Well, that
after
was-
reading your thing, that's when I thought, well,
This
this is
has to
something
be our
that
priority.
has to be
Yes.
done. And then when we get this cleaned up,
Then we
then
can
we
move
can
on.
pick one more thing and say, okay, today we're gonna do this till it's done.
You can't do any enforcement until you have everything established.
Well, actually, you can still enforce, or these ordinances are still in effect.
Okay.
Right now, and
What's in the book's good.
yes,
It's signed, it's done, it's just not
yeah, it's hard to move forward with this stuff.
because of the way
But-
they've
but-
done the book.
But we've already been talking about enforcing one ordinance.
Right.
And you can enforce everything there except the junk cars. We want to
Junk
stay
cars.
away from that.
And what's the way to junk cars?
But all that other stuff, it's straightforward. It's weeds that are too high, it's junk piled up in the yard.
People that don't have trash collectors that are using their backyard
Yes.
to do that.
And there again, we can't build Rome in a day. That has to be dealt with.
Right.
That'll solve a lot of these problems if we can get everybody a garbage bin. But we're not even close to that. You know, we have so many other things on our platter.
The water problem right now, really, when you think about it, is another big deal.
Yes,
I mean,
Yes,
We
we
have to do
have-
something about that tremendous hole down there, then you have.
and we have to attend to the paving or we lose $3,000. So that becomes a priority, like it or not. I don't want to lose $3,000.
And it needs to be paved.
Is it overwhelming? What you're dealing with now?
I don't actually get overwhelmed by it. I wish it could go faster. I like, when I see problems, I want them to be done. But I recognize, just like you do, that we can only do this one step at a time. I don't like it when things dictate my schedule, take liberty, but that's how this is right now. I view it as a business that's been neglected for 30 years. We're just fixing it. The frustrating part, I suppose, everything we've done is kind of back office stuff. You don't see anything out there. We've been working really hard, but citizens don't see the result of our efforts at this point.
And it's
They
hard.
think we're doing nothing.
Right, but it's hard to explain it, and it's easier for me now to tell you. Because when I started getting guys that said, well, why don't we do this, why don't we do this? And the first words out of my mouth is, listen, we got 300 some voters here, and $138,000 figured out.
Yes.
I can't pave all of Coalport with $138,000.
Wish you could, and you can't even use all that.
I
Yeah,
can't
you
fix
do that.
every storm drain or everybody's water problem with $138,000.
No, they're.
I have a water problem that I've had for 20 years. I've owned the
Can't
house for
fix it.
20 years. I can't fix it. What I do, I take my tractor up and I build the bank up a little bit every year after the water takes it away.
Well, there too, we have to prioritize. You have to watch your money before you do anything else. And I think we've gotten that pretty well. You know,
Yeah.
the back office stuff's pretty good.
The
wouldn't you
banking
say?
stuff is going well. I mean, we're making progress, there's still little things, but we're
You-
more aware of where the problems are, and it's more
Well, here's something
easy
else.
to look at and see what's going on than it used to be.
We also have to do a policy for the insurance guy to know we do have procedures here, internal controls, but they're not written down. So we gotta write them down, do bylaws, all that stuff takes time. You know, you're hitting all of it at one time.
And Joe left out here, but I wanted to mention to him, and we want to say something, but he's getting a world wonderful side of connections.
Yes, he is.
And I really hope that those are being written down somewhere
They are, we're keeping
Yes.
track. We're
where
keeping track.
this is who we talked to her with DEP, we talked to them about, so that if something would
Happened
happen,
to him, yeah.
unfortunately, hopefully it never does,
But that's why you want a manager too, because presidents and board members come and go. Hopefully he'll be here for a while.
that we can actually, say, okay, wait a minute, we gotta talk to somebody about that ditch.
You know, he's doing a good job for us. If we had stayed the way it was, nothing would change. None of this would even be attended to. The sinkhole would be there forever.
Now, is that a sinkhole,
That isn't a sinkhole.
It isn't.
No,
See,
that's
we
a word
need
I
to-
use.
Right,
I call it that. I
eventually,
don't know
we
what
need
you're
to
gonna call it.
address
I
that
think-
main water problem.
Yes. And
I
he
mean-
he is a little bit. He
Yes.
did bring
Oh,
that
no,
up. He
he's-
had the engineer look at it.
The thing with me though, if you get pictures, let's go 30 years.
See,
ago,
well,
40 years ago, before they backfilled the mine mill, that was a cement culvert that was 4 feet wide, 4 feet tall, and it started up here at the Taj Mahal and went.
Did you know what happened? The borough workers actually damaged a lot of that. They didn't realize it was there, it got covered with silt. They dug it out. We will never put it back as good as you just described. You know what I mean? That's why it's not there. When you look in there, one wall is absolutely missing.
Because I
That's
do
what happened
remember
to it.
when the tipple burnt down, and that was my always question, because they said about the water, and I thought, well, wonder what size pipe or whatever they put in to take up, you would think that, a 12-inch pipe is not gonna cover a 3-foot by 4-foot cement culvert.
Yeah.
You know, there used
It's
to be
constantly
pipes up
running.
through there that, when I was a little kid, we used to walk through them. We were stupid. You know, we'd crawl through
Remember
that
the big,
stuff.
big,
Yes.
gigantic?
They seem big to us,
cement pipes?
yeah. Yeah. All that stuff's gone now. The miners maintained that. Now the mine left, nobody did the maintenance. We are where we are.
Well, they were to channel that. When Jake Kernoschek was the chief in the division that was doing the flood control, he told me that they were going to put a channel down Spruce Street. And then these problems you were saying, you could just funnel over, right
We
over
didn't get any of
to,
that.
and then, but you remember that we are a commonwealth. You are the ones that have power. The lowest entity has power in the Commonwealth. And you can debate me on that, but they all told me that. It takes you pushing for this. You will have to, and I wrote letters and ask for them to be here and explain why they can't do that. And they will do it because you have the power. And you're the only ones who can give them the right to do things in this town. You watch, they'll bring papers for you to sign. And they will do it for you if you demand it. Right now you have Doug Hill, he's a temporary. So he's not going to have the initiative as a true chief of that division of waterways and engineering. And when Mike Conway was there, all these guys, they came. I called him on 5 o'clock at night on a Friday night, and he said, I'll be there on Monday night. And that's the meeting you can see on television or up on the website that I put up there. This is a commonwealth, not a state. It's a commonwealth. The lowest entity has power. You have power. You can subpoena them to do something about this. You have that right. It's in the Borough Code. It's there.
Well, you can subpoena them as witnesses, I see that, but I don't know that we can make them spend their money here.
Yeah, they'll come here. They'll come here. But they had the money all in a bill, and I don't know what happened to it. It was only supposed to take 12 years, and they would have had this project done. If you look at DG 182 dash 4.
Okay, there's a bunch of, two more of those tax things.
I'm just gonna throw it.
Thanks for helping us. Appreciate it. Do that crap. That did make life a little, will make life a little easier for you, will it not?
No, I don't think it'll be, it's gonna be tedious, but I don't think it's gonna be insanely difficult or anything to do. A little time consuming maybe, but
Probably not a whole lot we can do since you're the one that has to operate the
there's not a
seal
lot
and do
you
the
can't
signing,
help.
you're the secretary.
You know, you
And
save
it's
yourself.
unfortunate the whole time they were doing this, that there isn't seals on anything but the page they sign.
Yes.
No, you guys save
And
yourselves.
I did
You
not
can't help
see,
me.
maybe I'm missing something, but I didn't see any copies of the newspaper article that says that we,
Well, that was, I put that little piece together that I sent you.
yeah.
They didn't do it that way.
They didn't do
God,
it.
Now,
She
obviously,
and I talked, it makes things simpler, doesn't it, if it's right there?
yeah, if you go right, and that's what I said,
Everything will be right there, right on the page.
you know, like what we did with 194, whatever she put in the newspaper should also be in that.
That's right, tack
That's
right
right.
back to
To it.
that page. Yes. That's what we want to do, that's exactly it
thinking-
right there.
Yeah.
And we're gonna do it, we're gonna be very efficient. We're starting,
Yeah.
the moment we pass something, we're signing it there, we're not waiting the next day. I'll be there, I don't know about the mayor.
Next week, next
Yes, that, right. Yeah, so we're gonna be very efficient at it, and just,
She has got to sign that.
and we're actually gonna hold ourselves to the highest standard. Every ordinance doesn't require you to send a copy to the Clearfield County Law Library, but we are going to. So we'll just always hold ourselves to the highest standard. That way there'll be no problems.
I mean, it's there then. I mean,
Yes,
everybody
you've
looks
done
and says,
everything.
you
You
know,
put
this
it in
is-
the library, you advertise it in the paper, you have a copy of the originals, and then you have, whenever you send something to the law library, it also has to be attested, you saw that.
Yeah.
Same way you put it in the book. And
Yeah,
what
with
he
that,
says
with
exactly-
that seal.
With the seal.
Yes, that
He said
seal is
exactly
the
what
key
would be
to
in
the
book.
whole thing. She's saying this is accurate.
I just have one question.
Fire away.
The originals are supposed to go into like a folder, correct?
They call it an ordinance
Well,
file.
yeah, a Word
You
file.
have to make up
folder.
I
a
think you have to
specific
find a system
ordinance
that
file.
works, that it's hard copy.
I get that. What am I supposed to do about these ones that are already glued in here?
Well, the whole idea of having it in a book like that was so that there's no fraud. If you have loose papers that you're going to stick in a file,
Not
There's
once
room-
it has her seal on
I'm
it.
just wondering
There's
if
room
it's
for
there,
fraud.
it's had the original glued in here. And I'm just
If
wondering,
it's,
like,
if it's done like it's supposed to be done, though,
I think
It
you don't
eliminates
take these
a
out.
good majority of it.
You
I mean, there's
start
always somebody
over.
that's,
You
it's just like
make
the
new ones,
key
you
chips
have
for the
to
gas
save.
pumps now. If you put your credit card in there, they can get your credit card
You
number
should look
just
at
by
them, let
putting
me
a
know.
chip in the, I had it asked to
It's in
get
that
that
little
one.
thing that I
The
sent
chip?
you.
Yeah.
It's like 194.
They're supposed to be
that's in the
secure.
original.
Right.
Well, what they're
It
doing
is.
now, they've
That's
developed,
the
you know how
problem.
you
It
read
should
your
be.
numbers off your, you know, how the
I gave
machine
it
reads
to
your
them
numbers
that
off
one.
your card.
It is.
Yeah, it was, so I wasn't
They
sure.
actually have a thing
There'll be
now
a new
that
original,
they can
I
insert
guess, because you'll have to.
and check
sign.
when you go, like if you're using your credit card in a gas pump, and that thing you put it into, grab a hold of it and see if it moves.
Yeah, there's a seal on it if you look.
Right, because what they've done, these crooks have actually made a piece that goes over that fits over that. When you put your credit card in there, there's a chip in there that actually reads your credit card and sends it to him.
Yeah, right.
I just went through almost, well, pretty damn near $3,000 at Mint Mart. They were going to Mint Mart three times a day with my card and buying
What?
$25 to $30 items. In Mint Mart, whether it be gas, cigarettes, candy, whatever. And then when, you know how they have the key punch machine? Instead of using a credit card, they were key punching my numbers into the machine. And the wife was just normally, because I kept the
I'll
card.
send this to you again.
Here, when I went to retire, I took it out of my
It's
wallet.
the same thing that I
Put it in
sent
my dress.
you.
Yeah. And I
And
did
didn't
read
use
it,
it
I just
Yes,
wanted to be
well,
sure.
okay,
it'll
I'll
still be on
copy
your
it.
email, and we'll
So,
check, we will
that
make
card
sure
was
we
in my
follow
thing.
those rules
And
and
actually,
understand them
On the
clearly. I've
22nd,
sent so much stuff.
when we called the
to
credit card
everybody, I
company,
can't
because
keep
I
it
got this
straight.
Yeah, I just,
enormous
you
bill,
know, when
I
it was
couldn't
about
figure out
the
why.
originals, I was like, well, the
They had
original
actually
card-
used
I
it on
think
the
it says
22nd
somewhere, doesn't it say you have to
of
make,
this month.
make
3
complete
times at
copies?
Mint Mart.
A current
Wow.
copy of the original. Certify each ordinance as a current copy of the original.
That's,
And it was one of them
Place
things
the
where
ordinance
I
shall
kept it in my wallet,
Fix
so
the original ordinance.
just like
Yeah, so
a failure or
those will
something,
stay in the.
I'd use it,
You
knowing
have
that she
the
was gonna
stuff
pay
on
the
your
bill.
computer.
Yes.
And somebody
Yeah,
got
I
my
think
numbers.
you will say who signed the original, because the signatures won't be there, right? Is that what it says?
That's the way
So when
I'm
I
Yeah.
talked to the credit,
understanding
that's
it.
how
Yeah,
they
we'll read it
explained it
very
to me,
slowly,
that they're
very
actually putting a
clearly,
plate,
get it right.
the crook is putting a plate over that, and you don't know it if you just slide your card and pull it out, you don't know it. She said that,
What happened to you here? I was doing this, I didn't catch all the story. I don't know.
when I retired, is that on?
I can tear it off, if you're adjourned.
Well,
Yeah, we're just
I
BSing
just
it out.